Everybody, me on the short video about the track extenuating circumstances submission process and purpose. My name is Sarah Morrison. I'm the Selections Focus Manager here at Cycling New Zealand, and we just wanted to put together this little video just to show you around the different documents and the processes that are required. So just to show you where those are, if you hop over to the Cycling New Zealand website, hop up to High Performance, Selection Regulations and Applications, on that. Bring here, we need the General Selection Regulation, and open that, and scroll down, and then you can choose which one of your selection schedules is appropriate to you, whether you're track, junior track or para track. We'll just click on the track one there, and also the rider extenuating circumstances submission form for all track types. You can click on that one. Okay, so within your selection schedule, hopefully this is all looking familiar to you now. We'll go through and find the extenuating circumstances clause and where that sits within your schedule. So for example here, the selection panel for track may consider one or more of the discretionary considerations and any submitted extenuating circumstances, injury, illness or other factors in accordance with clause 6 of the General Selection Regulation. So it's a may consider, it's not a must consider, and the panel retain absolute discretion and weight as to your submission around the extenuating circumstances, injury, illness or other factor. Okay, so if something happens and you feel that you need to make a submission, go over to the General Selection Regulation, pop down to clause 6, just click on that, and read a little bit more about the specifics of what that means and what that process is. So for track disciplines and for the BMX racing, they have a panel that can reside over these extenuating circumstance submissions. So key things to take away from here are that the claim must be submitted using the link on the CNZ website as soon as possible after the extenuating circumstances, injury, illness or other factors arise. And the purpose of that is so that we can capture the event really early on, and then we can know how your projection and tracking towards returning to competitiveness for the Worlds is going. So what we don't want to see is have an extenuating circumstance, injury, illness or other factor occur, and then weeks or months later, towards the end of the performance window closing, you decide that you actually, will put in the extenuating circumstance then. We want to be able to track how this has affected your performance throughout, and we ask that you bring us along on the journey with you. So although we understand that in the moment that a circumstance occurs, you may be unwell and injured, and paperwork might not be on the high priority for you, as soon as possible, if you could get that in, please, whether it's yourself, your guardian, can pop that in, and then we can reach out and make sure that you're okay and talk you through this process a little bit more. So just keep in communication with us around that, and we can work together on what this means. It's really important that you understand the claim needs to be submitted within the performance window. So if you pop over to schedule as well, it will say performance window here, and extenuating circumstances also closes on that date. Again, the extenuating circumstance usually pertains to having missed a key qualifying event or benchmarking or whatever criteria is involved in your schedule. So by the end of that performance window, that extenuating circumstances application should be in, please. Back here, and it must include detailed information around the circumstance as to how it affected your performance or your ability to attend the qualifying event. And although it cannot replace a result or it cannot replace having missed an event, it's more to explain an absence from a qualifying event within the criteria and how that impacted your performance. Being in mind that your main goal is still to be selected for the World Championships, but we need to be able to see that there are a projection and a trajectory to remaining competitive and being able to go to those Worlds safely for yourself and also for the objectives for the actual event, which you'll find in the schedule as well. So we still need to be able to be confident that you fit within those objectives. The selection panel are able to seek further inquiries from you to understand the impact of the extenuating circumstance, injury, illness, or other factors, and that includes myself as the convener or whoever may take that role in future. We may do any one of the following in terms of getting that extra information from you, but we do ask that you bring us along on the journey. So if you have an updated medical assessment or another scan or an x-ray or something like that, we ask that you do bring us along and provide those as you see fit. So when you submit that extenuating circumstance form, it will come to myself. I will receipt it with you and remind you that we do need to see supporting documentation for this. And then it will go to the selection panel for consideration. If they need further information from a technical point of view, then I'll come back to you and ask you for that. If you provide us or provide consent for a medical professional, whether that's a physio or a doctor or something, to email us directly, I will let you know what they've sent us. So you have the right to understand what's been provided to us, and you can let us know whether you agree or disagree or whatever that is, and that's okay as well. We'll keep that communication open. A new thing in the General Selection Regulation since its update in December last year is that performance history in the 3 months before the circumstance happened can be considered with your performances in that window if there's competitions and key events there. So for example, if at the very start of the performance window you get injured, ill, or something else happens, but you're able to then obviously return to competition later on and hit some of the other events within the performance window that are qualifying, then we could, or the panel could, choose to consider 3 months back. Not super helpful if your extenuating circumstance happened in sort of the middle of the window and the 3 months back is still within the window, but it's just trying to, I guess, provide more opportunity that we can. So we're working on that. That's a new thing. And submissions, as I mentioned before, please, as fast as you can, pop it in. We'll connect in with you and know to help track this through. But the relevant selection panel, in its discretion, may take anything into account as it sees fit in considering your selection or otherwise. So this is what the form looks like. And again, these are all on this page on our website. Hopefully it's relatively straightforward for you and outlines the key actions that you need to take, and providing supporting submissions will come to me at this address and I'll loop back in with you. Oh, sorry, just loading a little bit there. And if you can just pop this out, fill this out and pop it through. We've tried to be quite explicit here, so it might be an upsetting time that you're going through having to do this. So just wanted to pop it in there so you're not having to jump back and forth between documents, but please do have a look through those actual documents as well. There is a space for, is there anything else you'd like to tell the selection panel? And then you're just attesting that the information you've provided in this form is true and correct at the time at which you submit it. So just a brief rundown on how you get to those documents, what that might mean, and where you can find the information within your schedule and within the General Selection Regulations. If you have questions about this, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And if you do find yourself needing one of those submissions in, we do wish you a safe and restful recovery, but do bring us along on the journey and keep us in the loop. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.